Hello, I'm José Gomes from the Federal University of São Paulo. The title of my presentation is The Alphabet Soup of Ocular Surface Reconstruction. These are my financial disclosures. It's very hard when we in our practice face this type of patient, a complete limbo stem cell deficiency with corneal opacification and severe dry eye. It's like we are facing an alphabet soup. So let's take our spoon and let's try to elaborate a rationale for rehabilitating the vision of this patient. The first thing you need to consider is to recognize the type of ocular surface disease. Many years back, we elaborated a classification of ocular surface disease that takes in consideration the status or the inflammation of the conjunctiva and the limbo stem cell deficiency. And we know very well the importance of the limbus. The limbo stem cells are responsible for regenerating the transparent corneal epithelium, so it's very important for the vision. 2 years ago, there was the global consensus of limbo stem cell deficiency. And in this consensus, it was proposed a staging system for limbo stem cell deficiency that can be used when you have this type of patient. So the staging system takes in consideration not only the area of the affected limbus, but also how is the central corneal epithelium, which is very important for the vision. So when you have a situation like stage 2 or especially the stage 3 and you have the involvement of the central cornea, you have problems with the vision. And those are the patients that we are going to consider in this presentation. So after we recognize the type of the disease and we stage the degree of limbo stem cell deficiency, you need to consider laterality. And this is very important because the limbo behaves exactly the same as other vascularized organs or tissues. So when you do an allogenic transplantation, you can have the same problem of immunohistocompatibility. In the eyes, you have the advantage to have two eyes. So when you have a disease that involves just one eye, you have the opportunity to get the limbo tissue from the same individual and transplant it in the diseased eye without problems of immunogenic problems. But the problem is when you have a bilateral limbo stem cell deficiency. So when you have those cases, those are much more challenging to deal with. The third issue to be considered is that the cornea and the limbus is not the only part of the ocular surface. The ocular surface comprises also the lacrimal glands that produce the tears, which are very important for the survival of the epithelial cells, the nerves, and all this system works together, making a functional unit that you need to consider when you are going to rehabilitate an eye. So that's why you need to follow a stepwise algorithm to rehabilitate the vision of these patients. First, dealing with the problems of the lids, then the dry eye, and sometimes you need surgeries as salivary gland transplantation. Then you need to deal with the inflammation systemically and topically to finally achieve the limbo stem cell deficiency that you can do the procedures I'm going to discuss. And finally, at the end, the corneal opacification that you sometimes need to do corneal transplantation of keratoprosthesis. The fourth issue is the strategy for the limbo stem cell deficiency problem. And of course, in this talk, I'm going just to consider the total limbo stem cell deficiency. A few years back, the Corneal Society reviewed the nomenclature and the abbreviation of these procedures. They were further evaluated in the global consensus last year. So when you have a situation of a unilateral total limbo stem cell deficiency, the classical procedure is to do a conjunctival limbo autograft in which you get 2 pieces of limbo conjunctival tissue and you transplant it in the diseased eye. And sometimes you can get very good results, even in terms of transparency and vision, just by doing the limbo transplantation. More recently, that was proposed the simple limbo epithelial transplantation, in which you get a very small piece of the donor limbus, you cut in small pieces, and you glue over an amniotic membrane that is placed on the denuded recipient eye. And you can get exactly the same results as the ones you get from the classical conjunctival limbo autograft, with the advantage to damage less tissue of the donor eye. You can also get this small biopsy and cultivate it ex vivo in a biological matrix and transplant back to the diseased eye, which is the ex vivo limbo autograft. For the bilateral cases, then of course you need systemic immunosuppression in most of the patients to get a good long-term result. And that's important to consider that the patient needs to be able to comply with the clinical and lab work follow-up and with the topical and systemic immunosuppression. The procedure is the conjunctival limbo allograft, which is exactly the same as the autograft, but only getting an allogenic limbo tissue to be transplanted. You can also get these limbo stem cells from corneal scleral rims from cadaveric eyes from the donor, or you can combine both procedures, the conjunctival limbo allograft together with the keratolimbo allograft. That's the Cincinnati procedure. You can also cultivate the limbo, the allogenic limbo, in an ex vivo manner and transplant to the diseased eye. The problems with this type of allogenic procedures is the long-term follow-up. So when you compare with autologous procedures, you can have a limitation of the follow-up result. And that's why autologous tissue can be considered. Many groups around the world try to cultivate epithelial stem cells from other sources. In Japan, it was proposed the oromucosal epithelial transplantation, the ex vivo transplantation, or the COMET, in which you can get very good quality of epithelial that can recover the transparency of the cornea. Many groups do not achieve the same results as the groups in Japan, and that's why they try to deal with other types of epithelial sources as the conjunctiva. So in Brazil, we have experience with the conjunctival epithelial cells cultivated ex vivo with very good results and more than 80% of success rate in more than 18 months of follow-up. These are some of the results that were further evaluated also with immunohistochemical. When nothing works, consider keratoprosthesis. The problem with K-Pro is the complications that you can have, like glaucoma, retinal detachment, and endophthalmitis. That's why we recommend to try ocular surface reconstruction before doing a K-Pro. The take-home message: ocular surface reconstruction should follow a sequence of logical steps to achieve a good result. Start taking in consideration the type of the disease, the extent of limb and conjunctival involvement and laterality. Then make sure to repair the lid's abnormalities, dry eye, and inflammation. And finally, select the type of rehabilitation procedure, depending if it's an unilateral disease or bilateral diseases. And when you do the bilateral transplantation using allogenic cells, consider systemic immunosuppression. I want to thank you for the opportunity and stay safe. Thank you.